Well, hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Amazing Seller Podcast. This is episode number 790 and session number 246 of Ask Scott. This is where I answer your questions here on the podcast, and I'm going to do it again here today, and I am fired up. Why? Because I get to hang out with you. That's why. And I get to answer another question. And today we're going to be talking about good old Google. And Google is a search engine, but they're also a platform, a channel, very much like Amazon, and they can change their rules as they have in the past. And I've seen it firsthand, and I've heard a lot of people be affected by what we call the Google slap. But the question that came in today, which I'm going to answer, is will Google still rank my website in 2020? It's a great question, and we're going to dig into that, and we're going to talk about getting our website in front of more people because, you know what? We want to get more traffic, right? And I actually talked about this in the last episode where I talked about a few examples of really large websites and how do you compete with those and being able to get a smaller portion of the traffic, and are you still able to do it? And I talked all about that in episode 789. It's also where I highlighted and talked through the 6 parts to launching and running and growing a profitable business or brand with those 6 steps or those 6 parts. And it's what I'm calling Brand Creators, the Playbook. So if you're at all interested in listening to that, you can go to episode 789, which I think you should. And then if you want to grab the playbook for, you can buy me a cup of coffee and you can have a copy. It's brandcreatorsbook.com, less than $5. You can get your hands on it. And I recommend you download it and then print it and start going through that. All right. So also, I wanted to bring up something on this episode. I look at Friday episodes as just my time to be able to hang out with you and just talk about random things, but also try to keep it focused as much as possible and really kind of bring it back to what's really important and how we can get our mindset right, but also how we can get through things like Google and Amazon and those fun things. But I did a recent episode and I was talking about, I titled it The Life or Death Game. And it was a really personal podcast episode. Someone near and dear to me is going through a really rough time, and it made me really wake up. And again, we've all been reminded of, what happens when someone dies, and it reminds us of, like what we should be considering when we're making decisions and being intentional and being present and all of those things. But the feedback was really awesome. And I want to thank everyone that has reached out and sent your wishes, your prayers, and also just said, how much this helped them just by me sharing a story like that. And again, I'm not going to go into all the details here, but if you're interested in listening to that, it will also help you. It's not like a doom and gloom episode, although it could seem like it. But it's really about, how to be intentional with what we're doing, why we're doing what we're doing, and really being more productive and not wasting time or thinking that we're working on stuff that's productive and it's really not. So if you're interested in listening to that, head over to episode 786. I'm looking at my show notes here. It was really good to hear from people after I posted that, because you never know how that's going to go, right? I mean, you say, you know what, I think this is going to be useful, and then you put it out there, and then you start getting some feedback, and you're like, oh, I guess it was a good thing. And so the feedback has been really, really good. So I appreciate that. So let me jump into my thoughts of the week, and then we're going to jump into this question from this listener. And also, let me just say, if you do have a question that you want me to answer on an upcoming Ask Scott session, all you have to do is head over to theamazingseller.com/ask, and you can do it right there. All right, so let's get into my thoughts of the week. Well, job security. That's what my thought of the week is. And here's what I mean. I actually did a recent Facebook Live on it because it happened right away, and I wanted to jump in and talk to people about it. And what better way than to jump on Facebook? And I've done that quite often, and I'm going to do it more. So if you're not following me over on Facebook, you might want to, because I'm going to be just showing up and giving some business advice, but also some life advice. So if you're at all interested, make sure that you're following over there. All right. So job security. Why did I pick this? Why was this a thought? Well, you may or may not know, but Earth Fare is closing their doors, 50 stores. And it's a company that's been around for a long time. And really, I mean, I was just in the store maybe a week and a half ago, maybe a week ago even. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, this is how you niche down, right? You got grocery stores, and then you got a place like Earth Fare or Whole Foods. And Earth Fare is, they're more organic, and at least they're setting the stage for that, right? They're making it, that's their mission, right? And they even have a mission statement and all of that stuff. And I just thought it was really cool. I also met someone there in the pharmacy area, or the vitamin area and stuff. And I recently started trying out the old CBD. And the reason why is, my father had started taking it because he had a back surgery, a hip surgery. So his doctor was recommending possibly just, trying it. And my father was like, yeah, it really helps with my joints and stuff, but it also helps me with it just takes my level of anxiety down a little bit. And I'm like, oh, that's good. And it helps you sleep a little better and all this stuff. And it's, got some good benefits to it. At least that's what they're saying. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go in and see what they got. I might try it. So I did. And this was about a month and a half ago, but I met this guy there then, and then I met him here again. And there's a point to this story. So just hang with me. So he came up and he was educating me, and he was talking about the different brands, where they come from, his grandmother that was taking it, how he's taking it, and the benefits and what people are seeing and the right dosage and like all of these things. And the guy is knowledgeable. And I'm like, man, Earth Fare is super, super lucky to have a guy like this working for their company. I'm like, man, he's committed. You can just tell he's committed to helping people that come down that aisle. And I'm like, it's really awesome, And at the time I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this guy, he could go online and he could create himself a little following of just talking about the organic space and, like all of that stuff, the vitamins, and he's just really, really knowledgeable. And so anyway, so I got to know him, and, I went in about a week and a half ago, just before I found out that the store was closing. And at this time, they didn't know it either, because everything was working as normal. And so I went in there and I talked to him a little bit. He came out, and it actually was funny because he gave me the CBD, and then because I already knew what I was going to get, because he already sold me before and I liked it. And so I came back in, I got my, they got to unlock it. And so he goes and gets me it, and he has to walk me up to the front register, because that's how they do it. And he says, all right, man, I hope you have a great day. I'll see you next time. And I'm like, yep, we'll see you later, man. Nice talking once again. And we, just talked. And so he came back, he tracked me down through the store, and he goes, oh man, I forgot. Last week we were running a promotion and you get like a free CBD lotion. I was trying to find you. Here's a tube of it. And I'm like, oh, cool, man. Thanks. So again, he's over delivering for Earth Fare, right? And so again, he really just, stood out to me. And so then I come home, a couple days ago, and my wife said, did you hear? And I'm like, no. And she's like, Earth Fare is closing. I'm like, what? They just opened it. I mean, they just built this place near us, and we were all excited. Everybody's excited about it. And they got a Pilates store over there too, or a fitness center. They've got a lot of health things over there. So it's really perfect. Everything's kind of like surrounding Earth Fare, and Earth Fare is going to go out of business. I'm like, that is just crazy. And then I started thinking about all the employees. Immediately, I started thinking about the employees, and then I started thinking about him. And I'm like, man, he has no idea what he's probably going to do. It's like one day you go to work, the next day you come in and they go, hey, I'm sorry, but we're going to be liquidating. We're going to be closing. Like, there was no warning. And maybe there was some chirping going on, maybe some buzz, maybe some rumors. I don't know. But for the most part, everybody was working as normal when I was there. So I didn't see anything different. And so anyway, I thought of him. I thought of him immediately, and I said, you know what I'm going to do? And I haven't done it yet. I'm actually going to do it either today or tomorrow. I said, I'm going to bring in two of my books. I'm going to bring in the Take Action Effect, because that goes through everything as far as like you're feeling stuck in life, or you feel like you don't have any options, whether you're in a job, out of a job, in between jobs, and how you can create something for yourself, creating that future-proof business that we talk about, building your brand. And we talk about all that in the Take Action Effect and these take action moments. And it could be a blessing that this is happening to him. This could be his take action moment. So I want to give him that book. All right. And the other thing I want to give him is I want to give him the new Brand Creators, the Playbook, because that will give him all the framework too. So I want to walk in with two of these copies, and I want to hand them to him, because he made an impact on me. I noticed him because he went over and beyond, and I could see the passion. And I know that if he just had the right, the right tools or the know-how, that he would probably do it. He would probably start doing this. Now, I'm not saying he's going to do that full time, but while he's getting his other job or whatever, he could be building this on the side, and that could be his ultimate goal because he loves it. You can tell. So the point here is there's no job out there that's secure. There isn't. I mean, you might think there is, but I don't think there is. So for me personally, I want to be in control if the doors are going to close on my business, right? Which I'm going to do everything I can to make that thing profitable, or at least enough to where I can either liquidate or I can get out from under it without being hurt, right? But I'm always going to have stuff in place that I have that I can, that I can fall back on. And the one thing that no one can ever take away from someone like me or you that's listening to this, that's going through brand building and building brands, is the skill set that you're building by going through this, right? Every single thing that we're doing, that we're learning, can be plugged into any business. It doesn't matter. All the principles, they really apply, right? They go with any business. Everyone needs attention. Every business needs attention. They need to understand how to reach the right people, how to get the right message in front of them, how to help them, right? So that guy that's working in Earth Fair, like by him educating me, sold me, and now I go back to that store every single time, right? Now I'm not going to be, but that's what I was doing, right? He's the one that educated me and made me want to buy through there. I could have bought it online, by the way, but I walked in because I want to talk to him. I want to see him. I look forward to seeing him. I look forward to hearing some thoughts on what he's up to, or maybe I have a question on something, right? And I don't mind going into that store. Well, now I can't, right? But so my point is this, is when you understand that you have a skill set in something like business or building brands, and it's everything that we cover in the playbook, really. It's all of those components. Once you understand it, once you do it, even if it's a success or not, it doesn't really matter. You've been through the process, right? And you've learned that process, and now you can plug it in to something else. So job security, I don't think there is any. I would hate to be the one that's going into work thinking that I'm just going to go to work as normal, and then all of a sudden I find out, sorry, we're closing the shop. So anyway, if you guys are listening, anybody listening that works at Earth Fair, sorry to hear of the news, but just, now it's up to you to go out there and figure out a way to either make your own living or go out there and work for someone else temporarily until you figure out your brand or your business that you're going to get up off the ground. So anyway, just something to think about. All right, guys. All right. So with that all being said, let's go ahead and answer this week's question. Will Google still rank my website in 2020? We're going to answer that right now.
Hey, Scott, it's Chuck from Connecticut. I'm a longtime listener and a fan, but I've got a tough question for you that I hope you can help with. With Google's new recent big SEO push for sites to have documented expertise, authority, and trustworthiness, how are new brands supposed to gain traction with a niche site? The techniques of documenting your journey and being an aggregator of information seem to be in real jeopardy with this update. How do we overcome this and actually rank a new blog, especially in the areas of health, nutrition, and finance? Thanks, Scott. I look forward to hearing your answer.
Hey, Chuck from Connecticut. What's up, man? Thank you so much for being a longtime listener. And I appreciate this question because, well, it's something that a lot of people do get hung up on. And let me just be very, very honest with you and with everyone. We don't know what Google is going to do. We don't know what Yahoo's going to do. We don't know what Amazon's going to do, or eBay, or any of the search engines for whether it's traffic or whether it's for buying products. There's always going to be algorithm changes. All right. Now, you can go and do a little bit of digging and do some research and see what these are going to do as far as impacting, like niche sites or anything like that. The one thing that I will say, and I skimmed through it, and you can find a whole bunch of different places where they're posting it. There's one that I'm looking at. It's called stanventures.com. And if you just put in Google algorithm update, you'll get the full update as far as like what it potentially means. But really what I took away from it is, and there's a couple different things here we need to talk about, but the first thing that I took away is they're talking about like the featured snippet, right? So if you notice, whenever you do a search, you'll see like now there's a featured snippet, and it's the very first one. It's outlined in a box, and it's then above where it says other related questions, and then it shows the top 10. What they're saying is they're not going to repeat that. So you're not going to have two positions. You're not going to have one in the snippet and then one down below that. You're only going to have the one. Okay, so that's like a normal update. And the reason why they're doing that is they want to reduce clutter. They don't want something repeated twice. Again, they're always looking at the user experience. Google is always looking at the user experience. All right. Now, the other thing that they said was they're really looking for good content. Okay, that's what they're looking for. Now, there's going to be factors that are really put into a piece of content, and it could be social shares, it could be it could be how many backlinks, it could be a whole bunch of different things, which it probably is. They're just weighted differently, and all of that, right? But the only time I think this is going to affect any of us, as far as like written document and or documents and having like certain authority, I think is when it's going to come down to more things like medical things, right? Like if you're making a claim, or if you're a research type of blog that does research on vitamins, or something to do with health, or something that could do with a law, I do believe that yes, they're going to be having things in place, some filters that make it harder for someone to just create content and have it be up there, because it could hurt someone, right? Like if someone had that information and they weren't an authority or a I guess certified certain type of person, right, that has the credentials, they don't want that to be posted. So that could be an issue. So if you're in the health market and you're making claims, or if you're giving research for people to make decisions on whether to use a drug or not, that could be something that you may need to be concerned with. And I don't mean concerned that you can't do it. It just means you're going to have to follow the rules. But to everyone else, I mean, I know right now we're publishing actually on 3 brands, if we're not even counting TAS stuff, but if we're on 3 brands right now, and one of them being really, really large, has a lot of traffic. We get over 175,000 to 200,000 sessions per month. So not seeing anything there at all. We're no hit. If anything, we're seeing a little bit of an increase. And we're just following the same principles: good content, sharing it on our social, driving people there from an email list. Like it's pretty much the same as always. We haven't changed anything. And then on a newer site, we're doing the same darn thing, right? We actually have month over month, we have almost doubled our traffic. And, in the beginning, it's like, okay, you have 100 visitors. Now we got to get 200 the next month. And that's what happens. And then you go from 200 to 400, and then 400 to 800, right? And then it starts to go where you might triple it. So on one brand right now, and again, we're just following the same criteria, and that is find questions that people are searching for, or solutions, and then give them a real good piece of content that answers their question or solves their problem or gives them more information, and post it, right? And then you're rewarded because it's a good piece of content. Now, you can do a little bit of digging, a little bit of research to see what keywords are going to be a little bit easier to rank for, and some different factors there. But the one thing that I see people doing is they live and really create by what this algorithm change means, right? So the only thing that I would say is if you're doing black hat stuff or even gray hat stuff, and you're building backlinks that are fake or that are, from Russian sites or something like that, yeah, you should be concerned, right? I personally, I'm not an SEO expert, okay? But I do have a pretty good sense of common sense. And that is, if you put a piece of good content out there, you tell Google what they want, right? They want a good, title. They want it to be good content, structured well. And they want, obviously they want people to stay on the page, for a good amount of time. So that's the things that we look at, right? Are people staying on our site, or are they bouncing, right? So those are things that we look at. But I'm just going to go back to the basics here, right? Create good content that genuinely helps people, and I think you'll be okay. And don't overthink it. Don't overthink it to the point where you're like, oh, I don't know if this is going to get by the algorithm. No, like I don't worry about that. Okay. I was just talking to my wife this morning, right? It's like you can look at a post that I did and go, you should have probably did the title a little bit different. We actually looked at a post today that technically isn't following the rules, right? It wasn't long enough. It was like this versus this. And that was it. That was the post, right? Literally, it was 3 keywords. It was, this versus this, like, X versus X, like 2 different variables, right? Like, or 2 different types. And that was it. You could have did like, what's the best comparison between X and X, right? That might have been, if you did the research, might have said you should have titled it that way. But we just titled it, the basic way. And we're getting ranked in the snippet, by the way, the featured snippet. We're getting ranked in the featured snippet. And that one right there is driving anywhere from 400 to 600 monthly visitors. Okay. From something that wasn't necessarily, the perfect way that Google's going to love it. Right. But again, we don't overthink it. You just continually produce content, get into a routine on a regular basis, and let Google decide. Right. And then learn from it. If you're posting content and after 6 months, you're getting nothing that's ranking, there's a problem. Right. And we got to go back to the drawing board here. But I got a pretty good hunch that if you just follow the basic SEO criteria, then you're going to be okay. And if this stuff seems foreign to you guys and you don't know what I'm talking about as far as SEO or any of that stuff, I would definitely recommend you go through the Playbook. All right. Brand Creators, the Playbook. Because we do go through that. I give you the plugin that I recommend. It's free. It gives you the guide to go through as far as like how to optimize a post when you get to that point, like how to write good content, examples of good content that's ranking, that's getting really a good amount of search. So again, brandcreatorsbook.com. Don't overcomplicate it. Follow the process. Just don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. That's what I would say. But a lot of people do. They get hung up on, but this might not be good enough. Just put it out there. Let the algorithm decide, and then you can kind of see. All right. So hopefully this helped you, Chuck. Anyone else have any other questions? Again, you can just submit that by heading over to theamazingseller.com/ask, and you can do it right there. And I want to thank Chuck again for submitting this question. I appreciate it. And I also appreciate you being a longtime listener. I really do appreciate it. So like I said, guys, that's going to wrap up this episode. Definitely think about what I said in the very beginning, though. All right. Remember that we have the control to create our own destiny. And I truly believe that. And I mean that in life, but I also mean that in our job. If you have one, don't just think that you're safe and secure, because the people at Earth Fair thought they were. And guess what? They're not. All right. So get out there, create your own business that you have control over, create your own brand. And the way you do that is by following a roadmap. And I've created that for you over at brandcreatorsbook.com. All right, guys. So that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, remember, I'm here for you. I believe in you, and I am rooting for you. But you have to, come on, say it with me, say it loud, say it proud, take action. Have an awesome, amazing day, and I'll see you right back here on the next episode. Hey, before you go, I've got one quick favor for you, and I would love to hear from you. And I've also got something that I would love to give one of my listeners, and I'm going to tell you how you can get it. So here is the deal. I want to hear from you. So what I would love for you to do is head over to iTunes and leave a review over there. Let me know how this podcast has helped you in one way, shape, or form. I read every single one of them, and they really do energize me and give me the fuel to get back on here and want to just keep creating and keep helping. So I really would love you to do that. Now, anyone that leaves a review from today moving forward, what I'm going to do for anyone that leaves a review, and you take a screenshot of that and you send it to me at scott@theamazingseller.com. You send me that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to enter everyone once a month into a little contest. And in that contest, I'm going to pull one winner, and I'm going to send them a gift, a special personalized gift just for you. So all you have to do, head over to iTunes, leave me a review, and then take a screenshot of that, send it to me, email it to me at scott@theamazingseller.com. And that way there, you can be entered to win. Oh, and one last thing, if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, what the heck are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe. That way you never miss one of the upcoming episodes. All right, guys, so thanks once again. I'll see you in the next show.